This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 908 of Horse Tip Daily. A different horse tip, a different equine topic, a different equestrian expert every day. Horse Tip Daily brings the world of equine knowledge to you, one day at a time. Greetings, horse people. Coach Jen here, and thanks for tuning in to Horse Tip Daily. Today, Hillary Moore Hebert, senior editor of Dressage Today magazine and DressageToday.com, joins Dressage radio show co-hosts Reese Kofler-Stanfield and Philip Parks for a look at what ideal conformation and movement is for the modern high-performance dressage horse. And we'll get right to our tip after this message from Kentucky Performance Products. Spooky, tense, edgy, unfocused. If these words describe your horse, a calming supplement could make training easier and riding more fun. Trouble-free paste from Kentucky Performance Products is scientifically formulated to support proper nervous system function and help your horse maintain a more confident, focused, and relaxed disposition. Trouble-free contains a blend of ingredients that support your horse's normal nerve cell and muscle function and is available in a convenient 80cc oral dosing syringe containing two 40cc servings. Ask for Trouble-Free from Kentucky Performance Products at your local feed and supply store or go to www.kppusa.com. And now, on with today's tip.
Hilda Gurney did an article on ideal dressage conformation, and she talks about how it's really important to pay attention to the way that the horse moves and works in all three gaits, not just being attracted to a big flashy trot. You really have to say, is the horse's walk rhythm clean? Is the canter what you want? Because it's stuff that's really going to be difficult to fix, and you can't just have one strong gait and carry the rest of the way. So I thought that was an interesting point, and I wanted to see your thoughts on that about, lessons you might have learned over the years about what gait strengths and weaknesses seem to be the biggest problems for you, or the things that surprised you, as you worked with horses that you've had in training.
Yeah, I love this tip when we were talking about it before the show, because I am living this tip right now because my pre-St. George mare, she's been a challenge with the collected trot since I got her 2 years ago. I've had her 2 years. When I first got her, I was like, oh my gosh, this collected trot, it's just not great. She is actually a really good extended trot, but she's a terrible collected trot. And her canter's okay, and her walk's okay. I mean, all the other gaits are fine. So we've talked a lot about gaits, and I thought, oh my gosh, what have I done? She doesn't have a really great trot. The trot has improved, and it continues to get better. But, when I was talking with Conrad Schumacher about it, he said, hey, Reese, relax. Some of your best Grand Prix horses are the horses that maybe don't have these huge elastic gaits. And he said, really, at the end of the day, you want her to be a Grand Prix horse. She is showing a lot of talent for that. And he said, relax. You only have half pass each direction in a collected trot, really, in the Grand Prix. And I thought, hey, you're right. It's so for me, I'm sort of living that, and I sort of had to calm down and think about it. And there is some validity to that. So that's sort of what I'm working with right now. Philip, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, a trainer told me at some point, and I can't remember exactly who it was, but they said, like, okay, a really flashy trot is only great for training level, first level, and then maybe a little bit of second level. But once you're in third and above, it's all about the canter, baby, A horse without a good rhythm and a good jump in the canter has a lot of trouble making flying changes, has a lot of trouble doing pirouettes, like you just said, once you get up even, further and further into even the FEI levels, we're talking about canter, Yeah. And that's, a really good point. But, from an amateur's perspective, going out and evaluating horses or buying horses, it's really easy to get stuck in a horse that has a nice trot. But, we're always told the trot's the easiest one to develop, and make sure that the horses have, without a good walk, you got a lot of trouble because there aren't a lot of exercises to develop the walk. It has to kind of be there in the horse, and the rider in the training has to not screw it up, right? And the canter just needs a really good uphill quality from the start. It doesn't have to be super balanced when it's beginning, but it has to be uphill, and it has to have good carriage and good rhythm. So, people who have trained a lot of FEI horses, a lot of Grand Prix horses, don't really look a lot at the trot. They look at something that's called kind of collectability, which shows balance towards the hind leg and this sort of thing, but an uphill travel, but not these huge trots. And that's really difficult because from a breeder's perspective, they're breeding more and more. I see really fancy trots and a little bit weaker canters without a lot of hind leg power and uphill canter carriage, because fancy trot sells horses. So we have to really remember the basics and really think about where we're going with the horse and not to get stuck in a first level mentality that you have that or even young horse classes mentality where in the young horse classes they're really showing some really expressive huge trots and it's not until the 6-year-old class where you have to show a flying change that you really are seeing the development of canter and how the horse canters. So it's a good point and a really, really nice article to go back to and to read. So,
well, there you go. This tip is inspired by an article in the January 2014 issue of Dressage Today magazine, so you can go to dressagetoday.com for the complete article. If you enjoyed Reese and Phillip chatting about all things dressage, you can tune in every week at dressageradio.com. You can also find lots more tips on topics ranging from barn care to websites for horse people on horsetipdaily.com. Just look for the topics drop-down menu on the left. You can now have all of the Horse Radio Network shows with you wherever you go with our new free app for iPhone and Android. Just go to your app store and search Horse Radio Network. The Horse Radio Network and the Horse Radio Network hosts are not responsible for statements of guests or their opinions. Use your own judgment when listening to the tips provided by the experts on Horse Tip Daily.